Hey everybody, I'm Joey Evans, and today I am going to take a look at The Last of Us, Escape the Dark. Now, Escape the Dark is kind of a system that Themeborn has. It's Escape the Dark Castle, Escape the Dark Sector, and this is a new version. I think it uses a similar system, but it's to the IP Last of Us, which is a video game and a show as well. So this is going to be using the same system and seeing how well they could integrate. It's a hard word to say. Integrate everything into that. So before we get to what I thought about the game, let's first off see how it's played. Okay, we are set up for a game of Last of Us, Escape the Dark right now. You're going to win the game if you're starting survivors here. You get all the way up here to Jackson and you defeat the final big bad. And you lose if any of your people die or if you take too long to get the days or these two markers right here cross each other. Okay, again, this is just a very quick overview. I'm not going to go into all the details here. We're set up for a four-player game. And first off, you're going to start here. These are the two characters we've got. We have two more that are off camera. They can't all fit in there. But each character is very asymmetric in their abilities. You're going to notice pretty much every single time one of these is flipped, you're going to kind of battle it by, it's kind of a dice battle. They're going to roll dice here, and you're going to roll some over here. All of these have their own, like for instance, Ellie here. She's going to have this die, and you're going to see how many of each thing there is. She has 3 wisdom. She has 4 cunning and 2 might. There's a couple other things too. You have some weapons here. These are going to be range, and you have melee here as well, and you can get more items through here. So what's going to happen is, first off, you're going to go ahead to the quarantine zone. You're going to flip these over, and then you're going to decide which way you want to go. Do you want to go all together as a group? You're going to go ahead and all go this direction if you want to. So what these do here is gain intel at any 2 different locations and draw 4 items. But each survivor taking this route loses 3 hit points. Then over here, you're going to gain intel at the suburbs, gain intel downtown, and you draw 3 items. But if you take this route, you only lose 1 hit point. So again, I'm going to try not to show too many of these cards because a lot of the fun in the game is discovering these cards on your own, but I do have to show some of these as I go through. So say you do this, you're going to draw 4 items. So you're going to place some of these items up here, and then you're going to go ahead and divide them among the people that you want to. For example, right here, we have a rag, explosive, binding, alcohol, blade. There's also more ammo and things like that. Now, before we get into the battle mechanic, let me show you a little about the weapons here. Right here, the revolver, for example. The revolver here has a capacity of 1, meaning there's going to be 1 cube here. That means I can shoot it once. All right, and a max fire rate of 1. So again, you can only shoot 1 bullet at a time. Like the double barrel shotgun, you can do 2. But for every 1 hit, it's going to remove 2 dice. All right, and then here, the plank has a durability. Whenever you hit an enemy, you may discard 1 cube to remove an additional die. So that's nice. And again, he's got a gun over here. His gun has a capacity of 2. So pretty much here's what's going to happen. You're going to move forward. So say everybody goes over here, and we are all going to go to this location over here, which is the downtown. Now, as soon as you're there, you're going to reveal the campsite. There we go. And what's nice is you are going to get these player aids, 2 player aids, by the way, and they're both double-sided, and they show you what you can do. Your daily actions, it's explore, flip a chapter card, or you can camp. Camp means use these. The sleep, one-time use, lose a day, add a boss token, restore 5 hit points, up to 2 survivors. Now again, these are one-time use. When you use them, you're going to go ahead and denote it here that you can no longer camp there again, but that does give you a way to refresh hit points. So that is camp. Now explore, that's where the crux of the game is. Here's what's going to happen when you explore. Now, the big thing about this is, the same with Escape the Dark Castle, is as you flip it, it matters who flips a card, because if a certain card says you, it could say it attacks you first. That means the person that flips the card. So anyway, you're going to flip this over. Let's look at this one. To enter this warehouse, you push aside heavy steel shutters. The metallic clang draws out a clicker from the darkness beyond. So you've got 2 options here. You can charge it or you can bait it. So you can fight it in either one of these ways. Charging it, it seems like it has less dice right here. Bait it, it has a bit more. However, you can also listen and sneak. What are those? We'll get to those in a moment. Okay, let's actually use this right here because that's going to be less dice to put out here. So pretty much it's going to be same listen and sneak. We're going to do the group, and that's going to be multiplied by 3 because you've got 3 threat tokens. And here it's going to have one of these and then a random one for every person. So there's 4 people out here. You're going to go ahead and put 4 of these out. Here we go. And these are wisdom. Here we go. And there we go. Add those. And these are the 3 from the threat tokens. And then you've got 4 here. So then you roll. Just like this. And roll. There we go. And then it's all going to be placed here. So that is what you have to beat. And how do you do that? It actually shows combat right here, but notice there's a listen round and a sneak round. Listen round right here are probably for people that are a bit more with their wisdom. So what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to grab one of your dice like this. So say, let's see, who has good wisdom here? Ellie. Ellie is very smart. So Ellie here is going to try to roll with wisdom. If she rolls one of these on one roll, then she can change 3 of these chapter die. Because you'll notice right here, these have doubles. Those are going to be hard to remove. So Ellie decides to roll. Look at that. Nailed it. So she can change these to 3. So we're going to go this here, and let's change this one to that. There we go. And on a crit, she could actually change 5. But if she would have failed that, she would have had to add a chapter die. So I'd take another one of these, roll it, and add it just like that. So what is sneak? Well, sneak is the same thing except it uses cunning. So again, she's good at cunning. If you roll an eye there, a success sneak attack, you can remove one of these. Or on a crit, you can actually remove 2. Now, there are different items on there that can help you remove stuff. So then you decide what you're going to do. We're going to say one over here has got to have, say there's one person that wants to go to, again, range, because you'll look here. Everyone gets a combat action, melee, shoot, and throw. We have no items to throw. And reload, that's later. Then withdrawal bypass, we'll get to that in a moment. So say we're going to have 2 person right here. 2 people are going to go ahead with range. And then 2 people here are going to go, there we go, are going to go melee. So we're going to roll just like this. Take a look. We've got that. We have got 2 hits. So say one of these hits was, let's see, I'm not sure if it's Ellie or not. Bill. Perfect. So we're going to say Ellie removed. So there we go. 2 dice. So you're going to take a look right here. You can remove 2 with this hit by Ellie. This one's going to remove 1. And then this will remove a fist. So first off, let's remove this fist. And then a crit means you can remove anything you want to. So take a look here. So we're going to get rid of this one first. You can remove 2 of these. There we go. Then this one right here, we're going to remove 1. We'll remove 1, this one right here. And then a crit, you can remove any die you want to. We'll get rid of this one, and now it's gone. And take a look, these are left. So this guy is not dead. So it gets to attack back. So how does it attack back? It shows the hit points right here. It's going to do 2 damage for people in range. Now let's see if it hits. You will roll one of these, and if this shows up, then it's going to do 2 damage to those people. And if it does this, it's going to miss. All right, then what about the melee? Here's the damage in melee. Again, it's 2. But if you take a look here, one of these is a shield. This person that rolled this is going to take no damage because they had a shield up. But Marlene, Marlene's going to take the 2 damage and go ahead and move it down. This is Ellie here, of course. But this is how you track your health and your hit points on that. So you're going to go ahead, do that. And of course, you've used your ammo. So say it's Ellie that's shot. And then say over here, Bill decided he was one of the people that shot as well. So right there, they have used their ammo. And now you're going to go to the next round. Now, also, you can withdraw. If you withdraw, you end when there's no more damage dealt. But you have to all agree to withdraw. You remove all these chapter dice. And then you're going to keep this up there. And then you're going to just have to fight it again. It's going to kind of be kicking the can till later because you don't want to die. And you're going to flip these to black just to denote, just like that you have withdrawn and you've already tried to do that. And you can deal with this on a subsequent day. And the final thing right here is bypass. Again, all survivors must agree. You're going to discard this immediately. You're going to discard 1 threat token just like this. And then all survivors that take the bypass are going to lose 2 hit points. And then you're going to flip it again to the black sides. You're going to lose a day, which means this is going to go here. And then you have to add a boss token. These we're going to get to in a moment, and this is bad. That's going to be something when you have to fight the boss later. Okay, so say we defeated this. If you defeat the enemy, you're going to discard a threat token and then search. We'll discard this threat token here and then search. What is search, you might ask? Well, search, luckily, is right here. Search, as a group, you may take any 2 bonus actions below, or you lose a day and add a boss token to take 4. We get to those in a moment. Those are very bad. First off, it's gain intel. And what gain intel is, would be reveal a stashed item. So right here. So that's gain intel, and say we're going to gain intel over here. So what does that do? Well, pretty much when you get to search, you can gain intel, which is, again, flip one of these. You can raid the stash, which is draw 1 revealed stashed item of this location. So I can grab that plank and give it to somebody there. Or you can draw blind. Now that is draw 1 unrevealed stashed at this location. Why is that bad? Well, not all of these in the stashes are good. It shows here how many good and bad. So it's divided in 8 and 5. So some of these, actually all of these are pretty good. But a lot of those do have some bad things. So revealing and gaining intel first is the way to go. And then scavenge, you can draw 1 item card. But one other thing is the travel. So to get here, first we traveled here. You'll notice these little lines. You can see them here that go different places, and that's how you're going to go up. But you cannot travel until you remove the threat token. Right now, this is blocked because of the threat token. So you have to go ahead and beat some of these to remove these threat tokens and be able to travel freely. There's also benefits if you remove all of these and you get down to the bottom location clear, because those will give you different things you can search, and different abilities will happen once you clear a location. And these threat tokens are gone. And you're going to slowly make your way and kind of wind your way up to the top. Let's go through a few things that we did not talk about yet. Right here, these are your character flaws as you do this. For example, here, she's lonely, and if you draw blind, which means take an unrevealed stashed item, well, you've done this. And say right here, you flip the chapter card, then boom, just like this. And if you finally do the last thing as the game progresses, you are going to overcome that flaw, and then you're going to get a special ability. So these special abilities are really, really good. These will help you going forward. One other thing you can do is you can do preparation actions. You can do these anytime except when in the middle of a battle when you're taking care of a chapter card here. You can use an item in your inventory. There's some food that raises hit points. You can trade with another person at your location. You can reload if you have the ammo to reload. And you can also craft. What is craft? Well, you might have 2 items that combine, just like this, and a rag and something else can make a Molotov cocktail. I'll let you go through these later. You can make a shiv using a couple of items, but you can go ahead and craft that way. Then as you move through here, these camps will flip and show you what the different camps do. And finally, you're going to fight the boss. Now, when you get to this boss, you're going to turn it over. We're not going to do that now. That's something to explore on your own. But you are going to flip these boss tokens, and they're going to make whatever is under there a little bit harder. For example, right here, you're going to add another die, another black die. Then other ones, like for example, this one, you can no longer use the sneak right there, or this one's going to add 3 die. So that's going to make everything it is, because you kind of push your luck. You're kind of, if you really want to take those extra actions, you're going to add boss tokens, and that's going to make that a lot more difficult. Then the final thing right here, you'll notice as the days progress, as you end a day, if you've done your action, your combat, you look at the chapter cards, your day marker is going to go ahead and move. As you hit these, you're going to add a threat token to all of these different locations. So that's going to keep going and advancing, and more threats are going to get out there, meaning that these are going to be rolling more and more dice. So you have to kind of manage that as you go forward. It's going to go forward just like this. And if you can beat this guy before this reaches the black token or the end, or one of you dies, then you win. Otherwise, you lose. So, in a nutshell, that is pretty much how you play The Last of Us Escape the Dark. Let's send it back and see what we thought about it. Okay, so that is a quick overview about how it's played. Actually, not quick at all, but I didn't go into all the details. I tried to cover a lot of the main points. but that kind of gives you the feel of the way the game is. First off, let's start with Escape the Dark Castle and Escape the Dark Sector. I have played both of those. I think I've reviewed Sector here on the channel, and Escape the Dark Castle, I really, really like that game and that system. It's very lucky, it's very quick, really, and it's one of those end-of-the-night games that I love to play when you have a little bit extra time. So this one, I was interested in seeing because I do like the Last of Us theme. Now, here's the thing. Let's first off go to components. We did not get the deluxe here at the studio. We got just the basic one, which I think is fine. The minis are not needed at all. The tokens moving around are fine. Artwork on all the Escape, the whatever series, it's going to be, some people love it, some people hate it. It's that very black and white, grungy style vintage artwork. I really, personally, really like it. I love the artwork for Dark Castle, and this has that same feel when you look at the board and everything as well. And the rest of the components are great. I mean, I love having fistfuls of dice. That's fantastic. And now every character has their own custom die. I think that's very interesting. I loved that when I first saw it. And I will say one thing, the player aids, 2 player aids. 2 players. And this is, am I right, a 4 or 5 player game? Yeah, so 2 player aids. 2. Could have easily made this to be everybody gets one. Every time I play it, people are like, oh, could I have a player aid? Could I have a, come on, guys. This type of thing is an unforced error. I mean, you do everything else. Seriously, player aid for everybody. It's not that hard. It's one of those things that I will continue to harp on because it just makes sense. Put player aids for everybody at the table. Why not? Okay, I'm going to get off the high horse about that because that really, really bothers me. All right, but anyway, so components are fine. Now let's go into gameplay. I don't know where I can talk about this. This game is a grind. All right, the Escape the Dark Castle, I know that's another one that I like. A lot of people here at the studio don't because it is very lucky. It's very just roll dice and just hope, you know, a little bit of mitigation. But it works because it's 20 minutes. This is between an hour and 2 hours. Can push that 2-hour mark. And you still have the same system. There's more stuff in there like the travel, and there's a little bit more with the weapons and things to mitigate, but it still comes down to die rolls. And that's the problem. You know, it really feels like a slog. When you have those ranged weapons, the ammo goes out really quick, and the ammo is extremely hard to find. Now, I know that's thematic in the movie, in the show and the game and everything, that weapons are hard to find and ammo is hard to find. But really, it's such a slog finding that. It takes away a lot of the fun of the game. And then on top of that, I know you can split up. You shouldn't, because then otherwise, the most of fun is reading that card when it comes out. And that's what brings the theme together. And if you split that party, then it doesn't really feel that good because you're just waiting for the other person to go or they're doing their own thing. This is really a 2 to 3 player game, in my opinion, because you want to go the same way. Now, travel is fine. I understand that. I enjoy it. But then let's go to how the mitigation, because mitigation is where people said they wanted this Escape the Dark series to go, to where it's not just roll the die and hope, roll the die and pray, roll the die and hope. This right here has items. The items are fine. I'm looking through some right now. Again, they're very similar to the first one. But then you've got the upgraded items and the crafting items. This one, again, doesn't really work for me because you're trading 2 or 3 items for something that's maybe a little better, maybe not. That's the thing. It's like, it's not like you're trading in for this really great thing, like in Zombicide, when you finally get the things, you put them together for Molotov cocktail. You're like, yeah, we're about to get real and start throwing some stuff. This one, it's like, oh, but wait, you have a shiv. Yeah. And it's like, okay, they're very lackluster, you know? It's not that big, wow, this is great. But again, it keeps coming down to the fact that it's just a grind. Continually you see 16, 17 dice out there and you've got to slowly grind away and plug away at it. And when it comes down to melee, it's still kind of rough when you roll that one die. The one die. And now you've got some of these die faces that they roll have 2 different faces on there. so it's even harder to do. Now, there were once or twice that we played with friends that it came down to a die roll and everybody was like, oh yeah, this is it, here we go, boom, and we hit or we missed. And that is an exciting moment. But when it comes down to that roll, I think when it's a shorter game, it's okay for the 20 minutes to come down to that big roll. But when you're playing for 2 hours and it, again, in the final boss comes down to a die roll and you roll and you're like, we just lost. And then you think, just for fun, let me do it again. Oh, we would have won. That's it. It comes down to that die roll. And it does not, I don't think it works well in a larger game system that takes this long. That's the other thing. And again, if you love the IP, if you love Last of Us, this may be something you would like. I mean, I also maybe later with expansions and stuff, because right now I think there's like 7 cards for each location and maybe 3 bosses. So again, even if I enjoyed the game more than I do, I think after 3 or 4 plays, it would start to get stale because it's just, there's very finite numbers of cards to see, and that's the exciting thing, which is why I didn't show a lot of them in the overview. That's the exciting thing about the game. So sadly, I think this kind of missed for me. I'm coming down not too low because I appreciate what it does, and I know some people probably want something a bit more out of that escape system. I'm coming in at a 6 on this. This is, again, one that if you love that Escape the Dark system, if you love Last of Us, maybe give it a try. But for me, I will gravitate to Escape the Dark Castle because, again, it is a fun 15 to 20 minute game. This one just feels a bit more grindy and feels a bit slower and doesn't have that much more excitement to make you look forward to spending 5 or 6 times the amount of time to put into it. And again, Escape the Dark Castle comes out so quick. It's cards, you go and you dice. This one actually, you have to lay it all out. And I don't think it is worth the extra expenditure. I think I'd gravitate to Escape the Dark Castle. But again, your mileage may vary. That is my review of Last of Us Escape the Dark. I'm Joey Evans, and I'll see you later on the channel.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.